All right, I got the volume on. What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. I, of course, am Joshua Porter, Director of Spokane College of English Language in beautiful Spokane, Washington, USA. I am here today to go over the last of the series, the last class in the series, which is APA Essay Creation and Formatting. It's what we've been studying in our Smrt curricula. And I see that lots of our favorite students are here in class right now. Thank you for being here. Rose is here, of course. Nora, hello. Sarbajit is here. Welcome, one of our premium subscribers. We also have Sarah, hello. Boba, how are you? And I didn't catch on there, Boba, what you probably replied already, but I was setting class up. What name would you like me to use in class? I'm going back through the comments here. And then, let's see who else is here. Nuhelia, hello, how are you? We have Raid, what's up? Good to have you here. So many awesome students, I love this. Okay, so Boba, your real name is Narimain. Narimain? What is the phonetic pronunciation? Is it Narimain or Narimain? There's a couple ways we could pronounce that in English, so let me know. And then let's see who else has joined. Chris is here. Hello, almost midnight. CET. Where is CET? Let me know. I should know, I guess, but Devi. Hello, how are you? Is this your first class? I don't recognize your name. You say it's midnight. My name's not Abby. Abby also teaches these classes. She is the more energetic, awesome teacher that shows up once in a while. Boba, you're so sweet. The most charming and beautiful, amazing teacher in the world. You're talking about Abby, I'm sure, or Neil, or Nicole, or any number of our teachers. They're really great. Anyhow, Jose, what's up from Mexico? How are you? Staying warm, I hope. Izelia, hello. How are you? Good to have you. Okay, so we're gonna get started pretty quick here. A little bit of coffee. It's cold in the United States right now. Waleed, hello, how are you? So this is the last class of our series of APA essays, stylistics, formatting, and I'm just going to start out by answering a few questions that students have asked over the course of these sessions we've had. And if you want more examples or information about APA formatting, essay composition, analysis, research, formatting and style, we've gone over all of this in this class, and I'm happy to answer questions. After this class, we're going to take a week break, and we're going to have a week off. So, Sona, hi, how are you? Good to have you in class. Okay, Sarbajit, we are not going to have a hangout after this class, and I'm sorry for that. What I can do is try to set one up for the class like last minute. I just can't promise, okay? So how about I send an email or a message here, and I'll try to set that up. I'm gonna write that message right now for you. Okay, we'll see if Mark gets back to me. As long as he is able to do that, and set it up for us, I'll share the link with you. So maybe, how about I start with a maybe, and I'll let you know one way or the other. I didn't plan on it, but that's the beauty of Smrt Live classes is, you know, we can plan a lesson, but then if you guys need something different or want something different to help you improve your English, we're here to do that. You know, I've been in classes myself as a student in university, and I always thought it was interesting that a teacher will plan a lesson, and then most of the students in the class will already be skilled in that area that's being taught and could have strong needs in some other area, right? And the teacher won't change the lesson on the fly like that. They'll still teach the lesson that, in my opinion, is a waste of everybody's time, or just catering to a few students, like one or two, when the majority of students need something else. So I try to do that in my own classes. I try to shift and change and work on the fly and augment my lessons so that I can give you guys what you truly need. Now, that's not going to make everybody happy all the time. So sometimes you'll really want something, but the majority of students will need something else. And I'm usually going to go to the most need, right? But do know you can always make suggestions. You can always ask questions. If it's off topic, I might tell you, hey, I'll answer you later, or you can send me an email or Facebook chat or whatever, and that's always good too. Speaking of Facebook, if you guys want to be my friend, there's my Facebook link. I do my best to answer questions in Facebook chat and stuff, but I get hundreds of Facebook chat messages a day. So please don't be sad if I don't get back to you. I try my best, but mostly I'm available during this class time in our main chat. Okay, so I'm scrolling back through the chat here. All right, making sure I get to everybody's questions. Oh, Sona, you're from Armenia. Awesome. Very cool. Boba, you're very sweet. Thank you. And actually, you wanted me to call you by your full name, which I still don't know if I know how to pronounce. Let me see. Oh, cool. You guys are talking about Shakespeare and East of Eden. I love Shakespeare, and I love East of Eden. East of Eden is my favorite Steinbeck novel. It's really, really good. I read it on a road trip across the Dakotas in the United States, which is like a very cool place to travel. It's very flat, and the sun sort of just takes up the whole sky, and the Badlands look like Mars. It's crazy. You can Google it. Google Badlands, Utah, and the Dakotas. Let's see here. Okay. Nari Main. I'm going to say Nari Main until you correct me, Boba. Nari Main. So Nari Main asks if she can send her essay. So I can correct essays of premium subscribers. Everybody should know that. If you want more information on how to become a premium subscriber, I can give you those links. Let me send those to you right now. And you can sign up for it. War of Roses is a novel. Nari Main. Okay, let's see. All right, here's a nice lengthy question. I'm gonna get to everybody's questions here, and then we're gonna start class, okay? Just going back through, you guys are wonderful. There's a lot of questions to go through here, though. Well, I love questions, by the way, don't get me wrong, but if I miss one, feel free to ask again, okay? Scrolling through. Raid's writing a proposal. Proposal for what? That's interesting. Let's see. Connotes, imply or suggest an idea or feeling, connotation. Usually the most common form of that word is connotative or connotation. A connotation is different than a denotation. A denotation of a word is the definition, the main primary definition. So like blue, for example. Denotation of blue is usually a color, right? The color blue. But a connotation or an alternative meaning is to be sad, right? I feel blue today. I feel blue. I feel sad. That's an example. Another example would be cool. Like slang meanings are connotations or implied meanings that are used in a social sense. If someone is using something academically, it's generally not slang. A colloquialism is a cultural meaning, like something that applies in the culture. So it's not a literal meaning. For example, the phrase, the idiom, "it's raining cats and dogs." That just means it's raining a lot. It's heavy rain, lots of rain. But if I took that as literal meaning, it would mean cats and dogs are falling from the sky, right? So that is how we might use that term. Primary meaning, modern science. Okay. First time in the class. So Quint Trang, is that how I say your name? Where are you from? How do I pronounce your name? Welcome to class. I'm so glad to have you. It's your first class. Awesome. Everybody say hello to our first time viewer and student. Welcome. Happy to have you as a student. You're writing a paper right now, Divine, or Dive, is that how I say it? Very cool. I hope you get some advice in this class that helps you write your paper. Okay, so, yes, Rosa is a premium subscriber. We all miss Mark. Mark's awesome. He's a master teacher. He's great. Okay, you said your problem, Dive. Your problem is with tense. What do I mean by tense? I never know if I'm using the correct tense in the correct section of my paper. It drives me crazy every time. So tense is past, present, future, and some people talk about passive as a tense, even though it's not. It's an aspect of language, because you can have a past tense passive sentence, or you can have a present tense passive sentence. Tenses are used in different situations. For example, present perfect would be something that happened in the past that has present meaning, or life experience maybe. So we'd use present perfect grammar. But that's sometimes used in combination with past simple and past continuous to describe a narrative of our lives. So I would really need context to help you decide what tense to use. And to be honest with you, sometimes it's a matter of stylistics. It's a matter of choice. The writer has the right to choose. I remember one time I was editing a paper and I changed everything from past tense to present tense, active voice, rather than a past tense narrative. And it turned out really badly. So it's something you have to play with, experiment with, and try. But don't be afraid to try. Just stick to it. Make sure tenses within the same sentence, or especially clause, match up. Oftentimes students will write a complex sentence or a compound sentence with a coordinating conjunction, and they'll use present tense in one clause, independent clause, and then past tense in the other independent clause, but they really want past and past or present and present. Generally speaking, those usually match up in a compound sentence with a coordinating conjunction like and, or, but, fanboys, right? We've talked about that before. So, yep, Rose has been studying here, and yeah, Mark's great, Sean's great. You guys should check out the other teachers' classes as well. They're awesome. Luciana, hi, happy to have you. Glad you made it. We're about to start going deep into our lesson in just a minute. Oh, you're from Vietnam. Awesome, very cool. We've had a lot of Vietnamese students here at SCEL, Spokane College of English Language here in Spokane, Washington. I'll send you guys a link to our website as well. So if you wanted to check out more about Spokane College of English Language, you can. There's the website right there in the chat. All right. Dave. Okay, so you want to, it's pronounced Dave. You're a girl, but your name is pronounced Dave. That's totally cool. You write about philosophy. Awesome. You should become a premium subscriber just so I get to read your papers. That would be really, really cool. I like philosophy. I find it to be very interesting. You mix tenses a lot. Yep, and that'll happen too. But I could look at your papers and I can give you guidance and say, yes, you're doing it correctly, or here's an area of improvement. So Dave, consider that, and let's talk more, okay? If you have questions about it too, everybody can email me anytime. My email address is joshua.live@smartenglish.com. You can also email Zach at smartenglish.com. Zach is awesome for answering questions and helping you out. Rosa asks a very good question here. Oh, we have lots of good questions. Sona, you're so kind going through all of the questions. Oh, thank you. I like to. I really want to answer all your questions. That's what I'm here for, and I appreciate all of you showing up to our live class. So I want to try to reach all of your questions. Okay, let me see. Boba, can you type your name in the chat again? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to remember, but I'm so used to calling you Boba that I want to get your actual name down and remember that. So can you type that again for me, please? Dave, no problem. I'm happy to help. Abu Zaid, hello. How are you? Good to have you. All right. Boba asks, can you provide me with the information about this concession? I'm not sure what you mean there by concession. If you can explain more, I'd appreciate it. Sarbajit, sir, how not to mess the essay up? There's lots of ways to mess an essay up. We're going to go over some corrections, but like I've said before in class, it's important to make mistakes in our drafts. We make them in our early drafts so that we can publish or submit a polished, strong, finished paper, okay? Let's see. Oh, you're so welcome. Okay. Your proposal is about board diversity. Board diversity. I'm curious what type of board, right? Let's talk about that more later on, though. Okay. Waleed says, what is the difference between SAT essay and IELTS essay? We haven't really gone into the different types of test essays, and I'm not going to answer that question in this class because there's a whole bunch of information related to it. You can send me an email and we can talk about it, or we can address it in another class. I am going to talk about different essay types though. Haman, we're going to talk about essay types, essay corrections, and polishing a finished essay. So let's get started on that. I've talked enough without the lesson in the background here. Oh, that's my Facebook, sorry. I'm gonna take attendance for our premium subscribers quickly. Oh, this is a different account. Let me log into my Smrt Live account. There's a little map of everywhere we teach Smrt English, which is awesome. Okay, so taking attendance. Thanks again for all our premium subscribers that are here. Rosa Nitesh, I think, is here. Mona, if you're here, say hello. Always happy to have you. Aaron, haven't seen Aaron yet. Lilit is probably here. Jail, hi from Trinidad. Hello, how are you? Okay. Nariman or Narimain? Yeah, let's find out, Rosa. Okay. So this is the lesson that we've been talking about, and this is the topic of the essay that Rosa and Sarbajit wrote about. I'm going to show both of their essays today. Oops, sorry. I'm going to show both of their essays today. But first, I just want you guys to take a minute and read what the topic is for this. So I'd like you just to practice reading. We don't get a lot of pronunciation practice, so I'm going to leave this lesson up. And I'd like you to take a minute and read every word that's on this page. If you can see it okay, hopefully. and then we will discuss the topic, and then we're going to look at the essays. Okay? So hopefully you can zoom in here, and hopefully HD is good quality for you. I'd like you to read everything that is on the screen right here. Okay? So take just a minute and go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so did everybody get that? What we are doing here is just practicing our we're practicing our pronunciation, our speaking skills. We don't always get time to practice. JL says, I have problems with spelling correctly, but at times read really well. Any suggestions to improve my spelling? Yes, I have lots of suggestions, one of which I'm going to talk about as soon as we look at this essay here. Okay. And thank you, Rosa, for talking about that. But yes, Waleed, we'll talk about that in another class, or you can send me an email, okay? My email's in the chat. Just scroll up a little bit. All right. So let's take a look at some of these essays. I'm going to look at Sarbajit's essay first, which is Knowledge is Free. And Sarbajit, you say read. Do you want me to read this? Is that what you're saying? I can read this so you can hear pronunciation and practice later on. Let me go ahead and do that really quick, just in case that's what you're talking about. This says, what are the causes of Canada's labor shortage, and what effect do immigrant or migrant workers have on the situation? You need to discuss 3 different aspects of how immigration may or may not be the answer to labor shortages in Canada, with each area of contrast representing a body paragraph of your essay. Suggested areas that could be investigated are: what has caused Canada's labor shortage? What is a positive effect of immigrant or migrant labor? And what is a negative effect of immigrant or migrant labor? Okay, so that's what these essays are about. Chari, what's up? Good to have you. Thank you for being here. We're going to start out with Sarbajit's essay. And Sarbajit, thank you so much for allowing me to share this with the class. Sarbajit gave me permission to share his wonderful essay, and it truly is wonderful. Lots of great stuff here. And he came in late too, so he did all of this very quickly. So thank you. That's very, very good. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody's questions. All right. Effie. Hi, Effie. How are you? Happy to have you in class. Okay, so there's a lot of good comments here. So Sarbajit submitted his essay, and then I made comments on it because Sarbajit's a premium subscriber and shared this essay with me. And this is what it looks like. This is some of what you get back. Sometimes I'll just do text comments. Sometimes I'll do video comments. So you'll get a video that looks very much like this right here, what you're watching, and I'll say directly to the student, Lilate or Rosa or Sarbajit, your essay's really good. I like this part right here. Your title is fantastic. Good job capitalizing the correct words and not capitalizing the prepositions, things like that. I'll also leave text comments. So here's an example. Sarbajit wrote, I think there's some great examples here. My essay is terrible. I had a hard time doing it. I was like, no, it's not terrible, which is true. This is a good essay. And it's important to be reminded that research is always hard. It's always difficult. So we can have conversations in your essays like this. Google Docs is great for that. And you don't just have to do it with me. You can do it with other students too. Of course, keep in mind, other English learners can give you advice, but we should not always assume they are 100% correct. You should not even assume that I am 100% correct 100% of the time. Teachers make mistakes sometimes. So if you think I have done something that is incorrect, challenge me. Challenge me. Challenge your teachers. I know in some cultures, in some societies, you are not able to challenge your teachers, but I think it's important. So me, as your teacher, you can challenge. You can challenge me. You can say, Joshua, I think you're wrong. And one of two things will happen. I will either say, oh, you're totally correct. You are right. I made a mistake. Thank you for catching that. That's good. Or I will say, actually, this is correct, and here is why. Here is an explanation why, so you can learn and grow and understand more. It's so important that we do that. Okay, so Boba, we're still doing essays. This is the last of a multi-part series that we're doing APA essay creation. So hopefully that answers your question. Nisla, hello, how are you? Could you give information about how to write a visual essay? Effie, yes, I'd love to, but not today. We don't have time in the schedule for it. But send me an email, okay? My email's up in the chat. Going through more questions that Sarbajit left in his essay. Canada's labor shortage. Okay, so I said, this is a great rhetorical question. The full sentence is having migrant workers a good solution for Canada's labor shortage? This is a rhetorical question that gets directly to the topic of the essay. This is an excellent rhetorical question to put in an introduction paragraph. So I just simply commented on that. I wanted Sarbajit to know that that was a very good, well-constructed, syntactical sentence, rhetorical question that helps the essay. So it's very good. Rosa's gonna challenge me, and sorry by saying that, but I have never seen quotations in an introduction. Rosa, that's good. It is important to challenge those things, and so you're challenging Sarbajit's quotation here, and that's good. Let's talk about that in just a minute, okay? This was a section of the introduction for Sarbajit where he had written, there are a lot of causes and a very few remedies. So we have the pluralized noun here, remedies, multiple remedies. And then we have the singular article, a. So sometimes for corrections, I won't simply tell you what's wrong, but I will ask you a question like, what do you see is wrong here? What do you see wrong here? And of course, Sarbajit said the A. Yes, that is correct. So I like to guide you, to show you where an error might be, but then I would like to see if you can identify it. Sometimes I will simply just tell you the answer. And you can see Sarbajit's in the essay right now. Go ahead and correct it, Sarbajit, that's fine. You can correct as we're going. So this is another beautiful part of Google Docs, and using Google Docs, we can make corrections in real time. So I can be sitting here talking, and I can edit this essay, and so can Sarbajit. So this is great. Okay, Nuhalia says, what is the meaning of shortage? Shortage means not enough of something. If we have a food shortage, we have not enough food. If we have a water shortage, there is not enough water to supply everyone with their water needs. Hopefully that clarifies for you. And okay, yes, some of you are commenting you can't say no to your teachers. I'm really sorry about that. I think it's important to challenge your teachers because No matter how intelligent a teacher can become, nobody is perfect. And I think it's important to remember that. So if it's not socially acceptable in your culture or society to challenge your teachers, you can still challenge them up here silently and question them. And you can absolutely challenge me openly. You can flat out tell me, hey Josh, I think you're wrong, and I will thank you for it. Because then you give me the opportunity to either say, yes, you are right, and I made a mistake, I'm sorry. Or I will be able to say, actually, this is correct, and here's why. And it's a teachable moment. We learn, right? Together. Okay, so Dave, you like that? Good, I'm glad. Shortage is usually a crisis, Sarbajit, because it means not enough. There's a need. There's a need there. So yes, it could be a small crisis or a big crisis. Effie, become a premium subscriber, and then you can share your essay with me. Just email Zach at smartenglish.com, and he can set you up with it. You get a month free if you sign up, so go ahead and do that if you like. Raid, a lot of is informal. Yes, it can be informal, but I would argue that it is good language in an essay, in even an academic essay. It's a little more informal than other quantifiable words or phrases, but I think it's a little much to say much or many in an affirmative clause. It can sound pretentious sometimes. It's usually used in negative or question sentences or question structures. You guys have great questions today. I'm gonna have to go through quickly though, so we make sure to cover everything. Nora says she likes to discuss her mistakes with teachers so she can learn something new. Don't give up on the things you think they are correct in your essays. It will help you a lot, guys. You're right. Yeah, don't feel bad about corrections. Feel good about them. It's how we grow. Rose, I'm sure Sarbajit doesn't hate you. Sarbajit's very, very nice. Raid says myriad of or abundance of. Yeah, great vocabulary, Raid. You could absolutely say that. So Sarbajit, I would recommend Raid's comments there and say that Raid is correct. If you chose, you could say there are a lot of causes and very few remedies. I like your sentence, Sarbajit. I think it's good, absolutely fine and correct for an academic essay, but Raid is right. If you want to make it a little more colorful with your language, you can say there are a myriad of causes, or you can just use the, you don't even need the of, you could say there are myriad causes. An abundance, there are an abundance of causes and very few remedies. It's optional, but that's where your voice comes out, your words. That's why our essays all sound different, even if we are writing the same argument or thesis, supporting the same thesis. Dave says, in romantic languages, yes it is. Okay, I can't find your email, Josh. No problem. Here's my email. I'll type it in there for you. Live at. There you go. And then also for anyone who showed up late, I'll send my Facebook. That's another way you can get a hold of me too. All right, back to the essay. All right, so one of the solutions, this was another opportunity for improvement. And I think Sarbajit had solution originally, one of the solution. So there we need the plural. And again, I just said notes. I wrote notes here, and Sarbajit wrote the correct sentence there. So I was really impressed. Good job. Now, to Rosa's comment. I don't usually see quotations in the first paragraph. Well, Sarbajit can do that if he wants. That's okay. Rosa, you're correct. We usually don't see citations or quotations in the introductory paragraph, the introduction paragraph of an essay, but it is possible. It's not uncommon. You know, if I had to make a guess of a percentage of time that I saw quotations in an introduction paragraph, About a third, 33% of the time. So if I read 3 essays, one of them usually has quotations in there, but not always. You can change anything you want to change now, Sarbajit, but it's your choice. So you did change this. You deleted the A. Very good. That is correct. We have 2 spaces there now, so I'll fix that for you. Aaron, you're not too late. You're still doing fine. Don't worry about it. We spent about 10 minutes just chatting at the beginning of class, and we still have about 25 minutes. Good to have you. Okay. And Dave says, I see it a lot. I think you're talking about quotations in the first paragraph. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the students who are writing the essays. Maybe a whole class learns about using quotations or rhetorical questions in the introduction, so everybody chooses to do it. That's totally possible. But this is a good citation. And I haven't even got to this question yet. In the following web page, the author cited a speech by Chris Alexander. I was wondering if I cite a part of his quote. This should be should I, Sarbajit. Should I use the author's name or Alexander? There's a couple ways around that. Here's a situation where, personally, just to make it easy on myself, as a writer, I would say something like, according to Chris Alexander, as quoted on blank's webpage, or as quoted by blank. So you could use something like this. According to Chris Alexander, as quoted by, and then the author of that. Do we have the author's name? Yeah, here's the author's name. This is the last name of the author. And you could use the full author's name if the author's name is like Aya or something. We could put that in there, or you could leave the last name. And then here you would say your quotation, immigration, ... all the way to the end, with your citation there as well, okay? So that's a great question. I'm glad you addressed that. Do we need to put a comma after the words said before the quotation? Oops, I made a mistake there. There's not supposed to be a space. Yes, because by starting out the phrase, at least in this example, and you can't see it, it's behind my head. There you go. According to this example, right there, according to Chris Alexander, as quoted by Chang. That is a dependent clause I've created there. So I'm qualifying the independent clause that's about to follow. So there we do need a comma, yes. Rosa, yes, I did tell you that in APA we don't use quotations, and I could have phrased that better. I was sort of misleading there. So we do not use quotations for in-text citation unless the in-text citation includes a quotation already. So let's take a look at the webpage that Sarbajit is talking about, and let's find that. So here is the quote by Chris Alexander. Let's see where. So I'm doing Control F or Command F here. And I'm going to go back to the essay to see what the exact quote was. This is what your teachers usually do when they are checking your citations. Said, oh, so we do want the quote, the comma here. So maybe you were talking about this Nisla. Let me see though. Immigration is one of Canada's most vital policies. So I'm just going to go to the website again and search for vital. Okay, here's the quote. So you notice this is a website. So basically, Rosa, anything that we quote here. Like let's say I want to quote the phrase or the sentence, this first sentence. Canada's birth rate, like those industrialized nations, is on the decline. I want to use this as a citation. If I was in Sarbajit's essay, let's say hypothetically I put that here, I would include this APA citation in my reference page, and I would also use in-text citation. So we have the author, Chuck, here, and the year is 2000, looks like 16, Monday, September 30th, 2016. So this is your in-text citation. So we would put that inside the punctuation just like that. So Rosa, this here would not use quotations. But if the quotation has quotations in it, if I am quoting this, right, or better yet, just the one that Sarbajit quoted, we would include that in our citation. We would take it exactly as is, right here, and we would put that in there with the quotations. We would include them, okay? Hopefully that clarifies a little bit for you. And Sarbajit, yeah, you can take part of a quote. You don't have to take the whole thing. You can take just a section of a sentence. You're not required to quote the entire sentence, but be careful with that. If you're quoting a portion of a sentence and it changes the meaning to your reader from if you quoted the full sentence, then it's not a good citation. For example, there could be two independent clauses, like a coordinating conjunction like but. Let's say, for example, I'm writing about immigration labor in Canada, and my sentence is something like, Sarbajit, I'm going to use your essay to write in here for a minute. My sentence is something to the effect of immigration, many people, or many Canadians think immigration is terrible for the labor shortage, but they are wrong, okay? Let's take a look at this question. And if this were a citation, it'd be Porter 2016, because that's the year I wrote this. Let's say Sarbajit read my publication in Scientific American, because I'm a brilliant writer, and Sarbajit wants to quote me in text, so he would quote this sentence. Now, if Sarbajit took only a portion of this sentence, imagine that Sarbajit only takes this part. Okay? Many Canadians think immigration is terrible for the labor shortage. So that makes it a bad thing, right? Many Canadians think immigration is terrible for the labor shortage. And I used ellipses here to show that there is information missing that would continue. That's what ellipses are generally used for, is to mark a portion of missing information. There's more information there, is what that signals to us. But if I did this, I would be misleading my reader. I would be making my reader think that this writer and this information is saying immigration is a bad thing. Where if I include the whole sentence, but they are wrong. They are wrong. It's saying, it's negating all of this. It's saying that many Canadians think immigration is terrible for the labor shortage. They're wrong. It's great. It's a good thing. It totally changes the meaning. So do not, please, do not ever quote a part of a sentence in an academic essay that changes the meaning out of context of the full sentence. When this is done, it can be very terrible because you're misleading. You're essentially lying. You're showing part of a story to make people think one thing when the original author wanted them to think something totally different. So keep that in mind, okay? And thank you, Sarbajit, for letting me mark up your essay. One more comment I had here. Let me see what that was. Oh, I just said great draft. See if you can identify more opportunities for improvement in the rest of your essay. So that was Sarbajit's. I'm going to now go into Rosa's essay. I'm going to back off here a little bit. And Rosa, I wanted to do one thing and one thing only with your essay for now. You've been so kind to, let me see, APA, okay. All right. You've been so kind to share your essay with us in class. Thank you again so much. What I want to talk about, though, is just finalizing your essay. So making it perfect, ready to turn in. So we're going to review a couple things. And then at the end of class, we're going to talk about different essay types. And I'm also going to see if we can do a hangout. I'll see if Mark got back to us, okay? So Rosa has a great APA format here so far. I'm selecting the whole essay with Command A or Control A. And I notice she is in Times New Roman, size 12. And just so you know, it's not just me saying this font and size. I want to show you guys the OWL Purdue. This is a website sample paper. I'll post it in the chat for you. It's a great resource. OWL Purdue Writing Lab. That's online writing lab at Purdue University here in the USA. And they are great experts on APA formatting. So you can explore this whole site. They have a whole APA section that talks all about formatting. This is a very good resource for you to use. Let's see. Oh, Rosa, you're leaving. No, we're going to miss you. Please don't leave. If you have to, I understand. And we'll chat later because you're a premium subscriber. So, oh, you're here. Good. All right. Let's see. Oh, Jerry has a good question. Hey, Jerry, what's up? Good to see you. Happy to have you here. All right. Jerry says, and Rosa, I'm going to use your paper now to type really quickly. Jerry's question is this. What is correct? And I'm sorry to say, Jerry, neither. These are both wrong. What do we think is correct? If the author's last name is Rober or Robber, and the publication year is 2016, who can be the first to type in the chat the correct way to format this? No, to answer your question, Sarbajit, the quotation, the citation you used did not change the meaning, and your citation is perfectly good. You used it correctly. I was simply using the opportunity to talk about quoting part of a citation and it changing the meaning. Yours is great. I just wanted to let people know they should not use a portion of a sentence if it creates a different meaning than the entire sentence in context. Good. Okay, so people have great answers there. Dave, good job. Sarbajit, good job. Rosa, Chari, and thank you for answering there, Rosa. So what we would do is we would do a small space here. That's it. This will never happen in English. I just want to tell you that. There is no situation I can think of, and I could be wrong. Maybe there's something I'm just not thinking of, but I cannot think of a single situation where we will put a comma that is not directly next to the last letter of a word. Same with punctuation. Whether it's a question, an exclamation, a period, a semicolon, a colon, all of those punctuation marks, whether it's full stop or a pause, will always go directly after the last number or letter of the word or parentheses. So this is correct. This is what it should look like right here. And we do put the punctuation after the parenthesis in the sentence. So if the sentence was, I like Smrt Live, classes, and that was Joshua Porter who said that, we would put the comma right after the R, 2016 is the date, and the punctuation for my sentence, which normally would go right here after classes. If this was in the original writing, here's what it would look like, right? But to cite it, to show that this is not my sentence, I put it after the parenthesis, okay? So that's what it should look like. Let me know if you have more questions about that. But we got to get to the point where we are finalizing this essay. So I'm going to back off a little bit here. Your overuse of spaces, Mark suffered a lot. Yeah, all of our teachers do. But we will always try to correct you and help you. Don't worry about that. Okay. Can I include paraphrasing in an introduction and conclusion? Yes. Paraphrasing, though, should still be cited, okay? And I know that you will find mixed information about that, but my advice is if you're taking information from anywhere else and you're using that information, use a citation, okay? Only things that are ideas or analysis from your own mind about that writing should be without citation. Cite anything you use, whether it's directly quoted or paraphrased in your essays, okay? Nora, don't worry about the silly mistakes. It's okay. Mistakes are important. That's something I want you guys to take away from this class. Mistakes are very, very important. Now I have to go quickly because we are running short on time. Good night, Aaron. Sleep well. See you next time. Chris, good night. It's 1 a.m. Thank you for staying around for so long. Appreciate it. Hope to see you again. All right. Dave, yeah, you're right. Rosa says again, I'm so sorry, Rosa. How can we avoid repetition in the conclusion? I will talk about that super quick for you. So repetition in the conclusion. Let's see if you put any comments here. I'd written raise, but you corrected this for me. I just want to know the meaning of this word because I didn't find it in the dictionary. Oh, I corrected that wrong. Rise of skilled workers. That's what it should be. That's a typo on my part. So good job, Rosa. Thank you. See, that's an example of pointing out a mistake that I made, just a quick typo, but it provided confusion, and I don't want that, so I want to clarify. Hopefully that helps. Sarbajit, we talked about tips on the introduction in a previous class. Check it out. If you can't find it, email me and I'll let you know. I'm sure Rosa knows too. Okay. Aaron's hanging out. Good. Awesome. So, Rosa, advice on avoiding repetition in your conclusion paragraph. What you want to do is break it down like I suggested here. You want to do a brief summary of your supporting research. The simplest way to do that, and this is really common, so you want to come up with probably a more creative way to say it, but something like, as you can see, immigration, blah, 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 has had many effects, positive and negative, but this, and this make it a good thing. Rosa's thesis is that immigration is a good thing. Here's something to consider. Put your essay away for a little while and then pull it out after you sort of let it fade from your memory, from your mind, and read it with new eyes. Read it with a new perspective. And then consider when someone has read your essay or is reading your essay for the very first time, your introduction paragraph must give them the topic and your general argument outline to support your thesis. But it's going to be very basic and general. Even your thesis in the introduction is not super, super specific all the time. Sometimes you'll even see an introduction that ends with a question that will be answered. So the question is going to lead to the thesis. For example, you could end the first paragraph, the introduction paragraph, with a rhetorical question or a genuine question that's like, is immigration a good or bad thing in Canada? That lets us know that we're going to explore that topic, and by the end of the essay, it will be answered for us. So your brief summary here is essentially you stacking the most important points from your body paragraphs. So look at body paragraph number 1 and say, what is the main point there? What can I say from body paragraph number 1 in one short sentence? And write that. And then same for body paragraph 2 and 3. This is your support. And then finally, you're going to restate your thesis. If it was a question, or if it were a question, like, is immigration a good or bad thing for the labor shortage in Canada? It's going to answer that question. Immigration is clearly, most definitely, a good solution to this terrible labor shortage in Canada, something like that. Make your sentences strong. Use auxiliaries like must, or qualifiers like most certainly. Make it strong. If you have an opinion, have an opinion. State it strong. Okay. And then a call to action. Every country in the world should do this. Something like that. A strong statement at the end. So that will make it feel not like repetition, but like reinforcement. So Rosa, to answer your question, I would say don't think of it as repetition, because repetition is boring, you're right. And I know I spelled that wrong, I'm leaving it there for a reason. I'll tell you in a moment. But as reinforcement and support for a strong, definitive thesis. Okay, so I've spelled a couple words there wrong, incorrectly. I've spelled them incorrectly. And I'm going to make this comment really quickly, but I wanted to make a point. Someone earlier had asked about spelling mistakes and how to improve them. Here's one tip. I'm going to zoom in to my comments so that you can see it clearly. Here's a suggestion. Most apps and most phones and computers and typing programs offer spell correction, right? And it's so easy to just click here and choose the correct word. Students who do that too quickly sometimes choose an incorrect word that has a different meaning. Don't do that. My advice to you being, click on it and see how the word is spelled correctly, but then review what you did wrong. Right here, R-E-P-I-T-I-O-N? I-T-I-T-I-O-N? Nope, that's not right. R-E-P-E-T-I-T-I-O-N. So R-E-P-E-T-I-T-I-O-N. Now it's spelled correctly. And if I really want practice, I'm going to delete it and type it again correctly. That will help you with your spelling if you do that every time. Again, definitive. Oh, I didn't spell that correctly. I'm going to delete it. And oh, I still didn't spell it correctly. How do I spell it? Okay, D-E-F-I-N-I-T-I-V-E. Okay, D-E-F-I-N-I-T-I-V-E. Now I spelled it correctly. If you do that, if you take the time to do that, it will help you with your spelling. So I hope that helps. Okay, back to the chat to answer questions here. All right, it's okay to write a prediction in the conclusion and make it entirely out of our own knowledge. Yeah, that could be your big idea. You could end with a prediction. In 20 years, I believe everyone will rely on immigrant labor to solve any labor shortage. That's a very strong opinion, so hopefully you've backed it up with facts and supporting evidence in your body paragraphs, but yes, you can do that. You can absolutely include your point of view in the conclusion. Just make sure it is attached as analysis of your research in this type of essay, okay? Aaron says, I was wondering whether I should start my essay in English or my country language. English, always English. Please, please, please. I want to make a very strong point about this because I've had the same conversation with a student just today who's here at SEL in Spokane, Washington, USA. I talked with a student. They were writing the essay in their language, their first language, and then translating into English. Whether you do that with Google Translate or whether you do it just by sight, don't do that. You don't want to practice translation unless you're going to be a translator, okay? Do not do that. That does not help you learn English. Translation can be a tool that is used as part of the process of learning English, but do not write an essay and then translate it into English. If your goal is to be able to write essays in English, I do not care how big or small your vocabulary is, only write it in English. You can then rewrite it later by finishing in English, looking at it, maybe trying to translate some other words you would rather use, but always try to write it in English if you want to learn how to write an essay in English. It's very, very important. If you can, try to not use translate. That is the best, but I realize sometimes it will be needed. So, let's see. Aaron, okay, that hopefully answers your question, Aaron. Dave, repetition can be exciting. You can read, yes, okay, you can. Yes, it can be exciting. It's used in poetry. It's used creatively. Sometimes it's used culturally. I know the stylistics in Arabic, as I understand it, you reinforce a point by repetition. That is not true in English. It is not true. You can reinforce an idea by restating it later, but there is not a lot of repetition in English. It's sort of frowned upon. It's not good writing in English, culturally. So even if it works well in language one for you, your native language, do not do it in English, is my advice. Deductive method of writing. Yeah. Handwriting is the best solution to learn spelling. Rose is right. That's a good solution for practicing and learning. This is easy, Josh, but if we are writing, not typing. If you're writing and not typing, have a native speaker correct it for you or a good speller. Maybe type it later. You can handwrite it when you get a copy for practice. Type your essay, read it, and write it. That can help you with typing skills also. Use a dictionary. Dave's right. They're awesome. I love a good dictionary. You should think in English, write in English, read in English. Yes, Sarbajit. Man, couldn't have said it better myself. Good job. Jail says, I asked the question, sir. Thanks for the advice. I had asked that question. Okay, I hope I answered it. Again, if I miss your question, please ask me again, okay? Nora says, try to write in your language first. It can be, is distracting and exhausting. Yeah, please don't do that. We're here to learn English. Write in English. Read in English. Speak in English. Dream in English. I hope all of you go to bed tonight or go to sleep in the day or whenever you choose to go to sleep and you dream in English. When you start dreaming in English, telling jokes in English, understanding jokes in English, you know you're doing well. Surround yourself with English. The best way to learn English is to come here in Spokane and hang out with me and my amazing teachers and learn in immersion, immerse yourself in the language. It's like, how do you get most wet in the ocean? You get all the way in the water, right? How do you learn English the best? You get all the way in an English-speaking environment. Now, not everybody can do that because of so many different situations, myriad situations. Right? That one's for you. But the best thing you can do if you can't come here and study with us is to surround yourself as much as possible with English. Okay? Okay, Sona says, I'm sitting here quiet. This is a high level for me, but I feel it will be helpful. Yeah, absolutely. And Sona, if you want me to slow down or repeat something, please ask. I am very happy to. I will always repeat something or slow down for you. No problem. Very happy to. Okay? Going to study TV. Okay, awesome. I'd like to hear more about that. Nora, I'd suffered last year when I came back to university. I'd been using the computer and mobile. I forgot about the title above the... Yes, okay, title and spelling. To use phrasal verbs are appropriate. Yes, Val, phrasal verbs are fine in an academic essay. No problem. If you don't believe me, ask Mark. I know he feels the same way. Phrasal verbs, totally cool in all writing. Informal, formal, academic, absolutely you will find phrasal verbs in academic essays. Okay. Rosa, very funny. Good, you're dreaming in English. That's awesome. Okay, so we are actually out of time. Rosa, we'll talk more about format and everybody else. We are done with the series though for APA. Basically, Rosa needs a title page here, and she needs a little information up here in the header. All of that is found here, all of the notes that I was going to discuss. So here, once again in the chat, I'm going to paste this. Just review this suggested document. Everything in green are explanations about APA guidelines, and blue boxes contain directions. So read through this. If you have questions, let me know. Also, here's some quick class notes. Really quickly before I leave you, narrative essays. I was going to talk about 4 types of essays that students have brought up in class. Narrative essays tell a story. This is your life story. This is like a journal or a diary. So narrative essays are about your life, or maybe your mother's life, or father's life, or brother's life, or sister's life, or friend's life. A narrative essay tells a story. And in academics, a narrative essay is usually, well, I'm just going to say it is a true story. It's your narrative. If it's a fictional story, if it's not true and you're inventing it in your imagination, then you're writing literature. You're writing fiction, or maybe prose or poetry. Then you have descriptive essays. Descriptive essays try to give detail. They try to paint a picture. And this can be also sort of creative, closer to a narrative essay. Describe for me your hometown. Tell me a picture. It can be from your memory. You could write the whole essay from your memory. You might include facts, like this is the population, and you would quote that in text and in the in-text citation and in the reference page at the end of your essay. Expository essays are just the facts. Think of a scientific publication of an experiment, right? That would be an expository essay. It would be describing what happened exactly, just the facts. They are less colorful and more functional, descriptive. And then there's persuasive essays. This is where you convince someone of something. Maybe I want you to come and study in Spokane, so I write a whole essay about why it's the best place in the United States to study. It's affordable, it's safe, lots of friendly native speakers, we have excellent activities, blah, 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 right? And I can support my persuasive essay argument with facts and analysis of those facts. So hopefully that helps you understand a few different essay types. There are many, many, many different kinds of essays, and we could talk about them for hours, but we are out of time. I've already gone over 11 minutes in class. So I'm going to look at the comments one more time, try to answer these questions, and then I'm going to leave all of you. But thank you so much for being here. You guys are wonderful. A teacher is nothing without their students. So I am so grateful for every single one of you. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the amazing questions, for sharing your thoughts and ideas. I wish I could, just give everybody a nice high five, but I'll give you a smile instead. Thank you for being my students. I appreciate it. You guys are great. Looking at the chat here. There are books about translation, Aaron. Yep, it's an art. It truly is. I've read 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and I love it. It's an amazing novel. If you haven't read it and you want some entertaining reading, check it out. It's beautiful writing. And I had to read it in English because I'm not fluent in Spanish. The author is Colombian and a beautiful writer, but without the translator, I wouldn't have been able to read it. Okay. Computers do make it easy. Don't get lazy. Higher class level. This is higher class level. Yes. Nylafer, hey, how are you? I didn't even know you were in class today. You say, Dear Joshua, have a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you so much for your hard work throughout the year. Great debt to all the teachers in Smart English. Thank you. You're amazing. You are amazing, Nylafer. Thank you. All of you students are amazing. Truly, I'm very grateful for all of you. Thank you. I will take care. You take care too. Narrative essays, you're learning now. Good. Luciana, thank you as well. You say Nylafer's words are yours. I appreciate all of you. It's okay, Rosa, about the title. We'll talk about that later. Remind me, ask me questions, write me an email, okay? All right, Sarbajit, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you too. Nitesh, you as well. Absolutely, Merry Christmas. Luciana, thank you, that's very sweet. But really, I'm here for you. All of you, you students, you are the reason that I get excited every day I teach, so thank you. Aaron, thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Val, the pleasure is mine, really. You guys are so sweet, so nice. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Happy holidays. Okay, I think I've answered everybody's questions. If not, you can always email me, find me on Facebook. I put that in the chat a couple times. Review the Purdue OWL Lab that I shared with you. And again, next week, we have a break. There's no class. And we will be back the week after. So I will see you guys in about 10 days or so. Okay? So thank you. I appreciate everybody. Happy holidays. No matter what you celebrate, or even if you don't celebrate anything, celebrate being alive. Every day you wake up is a huge gift. And let's do great things to make the world better, okay? So, I must leave you, but as always, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day it might be, I hope it's good for you. We'll see you again soon. If you're not a premium subscriber, become one. Now's a great time. Email Zach, and you can be in the class as a premium subscriber when we come back. We'll have a brand new topic. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's exciting things to come. So, thanks again. And I will see you guys next time, okay? Take care.